Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Team Rare Minds, I, Akhil Parapalli, welcome you all for today's webinar on changing trends in recruitment of undergraduate students and in post-pandemic time. I thank all dignitaries and graduates for joining us here today. As we start this webinar, I would like to set some ground rules in order to take forward the entire session in a smooth manner. First, I request you to keep your mics muted at all times. In case anyone wants to ask any questions, I request you to use the chat box. We will take the questions at the end of the session. Had we been in an offline environment, we would have had a face-to-face interaction. But since we are here online, I request you all to keep your videos on. And if you are not able to hear at any point of time, kindly shift to a better network area or rejoin. Let us know more about the CEO of Rareminds, Dr. Subhashini. So, Dr. Subhashini Ramaswamy, CEO and founder of Rareminds, she has over 2 decades of work experience in CXO and advisory roles and in setting up of startups. Doctorate in education, MBA in advertising and marketing. She leverages on core human resource expertise in a domestic and global environment, having worked with corporates like IBM, Microsoft, TeleDNA, and Diego. With a flair for solutions driven by curiosity and passion, her focus as a leader is on collaborating with other leaders and enables to achieve sustainable business outcomes. That's the introduction of our CEO. Then coming to our Rare Minds. So our story begins with the performing in recruitment from year 2000. We have been attracting the right talent for our customers in verticals like IT, banking, FMCG. Over the years of our services expanded to verticals in civil, manufacturing, architecture, retail, healthcare, e-commerce, and consulting. The urge to find a better talent in day in and day out is when our training and development business vertical evolved. From behavioral trainings to technical upskilling, we offer we have offered that from 2008. Rareminds associated itself with institutions, corporates, and schools to provide content, curriculum design, outcome-based learning programs, which is audience aligned. As a holistic HR firm, we today provide complete talent experience as a service to a wide variety of industries, verticals across geographics. So now you can continue, Fabina.
Thank you, Akhil. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm going to introduce our speakers. So first speaker, Mr. Shakti Vadivelu. So Mr. Shakti Vadivelu completed post-graduation in management studies and undergraduate in engineering, currently pursuing PhD in psychology from Bangalore University. Further, having qualitative experience in HR of around 16 years, worked in different manufacturing sectors of apparel, pharmaceutical, and mining industry. Currently associated with Shahi Exports Private Limited, India's #1 apparel export house in India, as Senior Manager, HR, Compliance, heading HR and compliance functions for 14 factories in Pan India. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Most happy to associate with this meeting.
Thank you so much, sir. So our next speaker is going to be Rajiv Velu, sir. So Rajiv sir worked in companies like Taxlayer, Shellac Paints, TMS Auto Components, to name a few before joining TPML. He has worked across locations in India and Singapore. His education qualifications are Bangalore University BE Mechanical, Pondicherry University MA Human Resources, IIM Bangalore, Next Generation CHRO. Raju sir comes with an experience of over 25 years and has worked in sectors like industrial and medical gases, paints and chemicals, retail merchandising, public relations, and auto components. He has experience in handling functions like sales, businesses, development, administration, commercial, and HR and AR. In his last assignment, He was instrumental in strategizing and implementing best HR and IR practices with an auto components manufacturing company. He's known to be friendly HR who tries to implement innovative solutions in talent management, employee engagement, and operations. When not on the job, you will find him socializing with friends and traveling with family. He loves running and he has completed many marathons of 10 kilometers and is planning for a half marathon soon. So, welcome, sir. Welcome, Rajiv, sir.
Thank you very much for this introduction. I look forward learning from you and also sharing some of my experiences.
Okay, sir. Thank you so
Sure,
much.
sir. Sure, sir. We have a last minute change in our speakers. That is Mr. N.M. Rao, who was gonna be attending today as a speaker, is not available. In his stance, Ms. Mukta Sachinananda from educational industry is here to enlighten us. I'd like to welcome her, and we'll get to more about her in the webinar. You are most welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Yes, thank you.
So we can start the webinar, ma'am. You can start first.
No. Let Mr. Raju Vellore starts first, Akhil. Then in the end, Ms. Mukta will take it.
Okay, sir.
I
So
understand. Last
Rajiv
week.
sir. Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Excuse me, Rajiv sir.
Yep, I'm there. 1 minute, just hold on. Hi, good evening, everybody. Thank you for attending this particular session. Yeah, I would like to share some of my experiences.
Send us.
Even I was a fresher once upon a time. There was a time when even I struggled for the job. Akhil, can you mute everybody? Is that possible?
Yeah, so I'll be doing that. Just a second. Yes, sir. You can continue now. I have muted everyone else.
Thanks, Akhil. Yeah. I was, trying to share. I want to share some of my experiences, when I was a fresher and how, what all things happened there, and then, what are the change scenarios right now post COVID, and what are the difficulties that, graduates are and undergraduates are facing in terms of picking up jobs. And I would like to share some of the key things that they should be doing so that they can look forward to starting their career very soon. It's fine now. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
You are
sir.
audible.
Yes, sir, you're
You're audible, sir.
Okay. There are only few industries that are hiring right now. Very few. Not every industry is hiring. Like the services sector has completely stopped. Travel and tourism sector has, gone on a slowdown mode, which were the great generators of a lot of employment for our people. Yeah, the sectors like manufacturing is going good, supply chains are going good, healthcare is doing good, technology and IT is doing very well right now. Banking sectors are doing good. There are few industries only which are doing good, and I will not say everybody will be good at technology or IT, or everybody will be qualified to get into manufacturing industries in terms of technology education and all that. But there are few things that you probably can do in terms of looking forward to be employed right now. Alternatively, if you have if you have great patience, you can give say 1,000 days to yourself. If you have a great idea and a good support, you can also look at starting a small venture. Say try it out for 3 years. That's about 1,000 days. Go all out, put all your experiences, gain experience from them, fail, learn, and you can possibly also become good success. At least you will have gained so much of experience that even a MBA with 5 years would not have got. So you would be a top-notch employee when if at all you stop your venture and then get into a job. That also is a good option to begin with right now. Yeah. And if at all you think, no, I will just do a job, nothing else right now. Then, you should look at immediately making a good resume. A great resume is a stepping stone for all your, career aspirations. Yeah. What are the key things in a resume which HRs will look at? HRs like me look at a good font size. Don't go for a 14 or a 18 font size, which will hit in the face when anybody looks at the resume. Go for a moderate 11 or 12. That's the font size. Go for a good font like Arial or Calibri. Times Roman. These are all the standard fonts that normally people use. Don't go for fancy fonts where people struggle to read your resume. Don't do that. And not more than 2 pages. Don't get resume of 5 pages, 6 pages. You are looking at possibly. I am just imagining that the crowd which I am addressing right now are just undergraduates and looking for to start their career. So a resume of 2 pages should be good enough. Look at the language. What kind of language are you using? Are you using a very strong language, very affirmative language? If you want to get into a sales kind of a role, affirmative language is what you need to use. If you want to get into back-end jobs, is when you need to use language which kind of a service kind of a language is you need to use. Look for mistakes. Don't do spelling mistakes. Don't do major grammatical mistakes. Whatever you write in the resume has to be truth and nothing else. Don't write that I am a born leader, blah blah. Don't do all that. Go with whatever is if you think you have some innate strength, like if you are very good at Microsoft Excel, please mention that. And you seek help. When you write a resume, revisit that after 2 days, look at it again, send it to some people, send it to friends, family. There are people who will be able to help you out. Send it to them, and then they should be able to help you also. And most important mistake that people do is when we are all in college, we create some fancy email IDs. I keep telling this in all the places where I get to speak. Like few example, Rahul the Warrior. Don't use all that. You can be as simple as Rahul dot Ramaswamy @gmail.com. That should be a good enough resume. If you don't get that, then there are some dates and numbers that you can use. But don't go for email IDs where people will get switched off just looking at that. Yeah. Also, why don't you try some internships? Internships are great places where you can have some amount of exposure, and also it can create your interest. If you are a fresher, you don't know what to do, then internships are a great places. Like whatever you learn there, whatever small things you learn there will really help you to take your career in the long run. You can also look at attending some finishing attending finishing schools. There are some good finishing schools, and also there are professional training institutes who can help you in terms of placing you in a job. The most important thing is, you should use the social network to your advantage, like Facebook. Yeah, we all use Facebook, but what is that we use for is the most important. And we all use LinkedIn. Even on LinkedIn, there are good groups. Let's say you are very interested in say, I can just pick up, say, in administrative jobs. There are good groups on LinkedIn and Facebook on for all these administrative people. Join them, start contributing, and then you can network with people there, and then start seeking guidances. They will definitely help you out. You can also attend job fairs. There are open job fairs which keep happening, and then you can attend those also. Drop in your name, numbers, and when you do that, and when you attend an interview, learn from the interviews. Yeah, there it's not possible that all the answers to all the questions that are asked, but you keep learning from every interview that you attend. And don't lose heart. It's okay to lose one or two interviews. It is just okay. But most important is you should learn from every experience that you go through in the interview. Like, you will have to do a good research on whichever employer that you are going for. Say, if you go for a manufacturing company and you don't know what is that company doing, which product they manufacture, who are their customers. If you don't know that, then it becomes really difficult for the HR or to the hiring manager to even consider you, to take you to the next step of the hiring process. Don't do that. Then prepare for the interview. Prepare well. Whatever you know well, prepare for it. Like, basics is what you should be knowing thoroughly. Thoroughly means really thoroughly, and which are relevant for the jobs. Whichever job you have applied for, prepare well for it. And important is there are many what do you call, job boards like Naukri.com, Monster.com, TimesJobs.com. Sorry. Hi, Sachi. Good to see you here. And yes, Shachi is a great resume writer. You can use her services also.
Thank you so much, Rajiv.
Thank you. Yeah. Then you use the job boards very effectively. TimesJob, Shine.com, all these job boards you can use very well. And also, after the interview, please send a thank you note to whoever interviewed you. That will remind the employer that you are really interested in the job, and then you want this job. And then even if you are not considered now, they would keep you in the back of the mind. And then when anything relevant comes up, the first call that will land up will be on your mobile phone. That is for sure. In fact, it has happened to me many times that I have called back many candidates that, hey, you know what, we interviewed you for a different role, but we were not able to hire you that time, but there seems to be some very relevant role right now. If you want, we can look at that position for you. It definitely comes in. I'll stop here. If there are any questions, Akhil, I would like to address midway.
So for now, there are no questions. If there are any questions from the participant side, they can share their questions in the chat box. We will address that at the ending of the session.
Okay, fine. Can I take another 5 minutes?
Yeah, sure, sir.
Okay. I would like to give a few more inputs. If there are any questions, please put it on the chat window. I will definitely address it towards the end of it. Most important thing is don't lose heart. It's okay, 1 or 2 failures. It's okay. Use all the failures to your advantage. You learn, write down all the questions that were asked and you are not able to answer. Even if you are able to answer, please write it down and see if you can answer them better next time when the same questions are asked. So that way you are building your confidence to a great extent. The first step that you take towards your career is always very, very hard. It's the hardest. And the first step that you take in the right direction will take you very long. Like I can give a small example. I started my career in sales. For 12 years, I was in sales. Sometime midway after 12 years, I thought, hey, you know what?
Just mute yourself. It's creating a disturbance. Sorry, sir. You can continue, sir.
Yeah. So I was giving one small example. After 12 years in sales, I was doing pretty well. I was the regional manager for South India, handling 3 states, and then pretty well, big team, fantastic products. We were handling very good. But suddenly something happened, and I thought, hey, you know what? I don't like sales. Let me do something else. I didn't know what to do. Then going by all my experiences, I thought I am good at relationship management. Then I thought HR field may be a good thing to do for me. So I started taking baby steps in HR, started learning things. I started my HR career again as a HR executive. From regional sales manager, I dropped down as a HR executive. That was some 15 years back. But that right direction and that small step which I took really helped me out in terms of carving out myself as a good HR person, building my career in HR, and then using all my confidence that I had in sales to become, I would not say successful, but a decent place in the HR fraternity wherever I am. Also, a few things to understand. One thing is some people just want it to happen. Yeah? They'll sit and see, let it happen. Some people will wish, hey, I wish this could happen. And there are very few people who will make it happen. Only those are the people who will be really successful. Yeah? You will have to push for what you want. Just push for it. Even in small steps, it will help you a lot. The more you learn of what you want to do, the more confident you are. That's what I'll say. And all the unsuccessful people, what they do? They'll take all the failure on their head. They'll say, oh shit, what have I done? And they'll take it to the heart, keep sulking, and they start losing confidence from there. All the successful people, they have all taken failures as their stepping stone. Step on it, learn from it, and then move ahead. If there is no way, you will create one. Only if you are going in the right direction. Yeah. And once you are, once you get what you want, people will only look at what you have got. The path that you have taken, it's just the tip of the iceberg. Yeah, they will only see success, money, fame, job, designation. All that is there, correct. But what people do not realize and they cannot see at all, only you can feel it, is the risk that you have taken, the discipline, the late nights that you have done, the courage that you took, the hard work that you have done, sacrifices, disappointments, failures, doubts, self-doubts, the struggle that you did. Nobody will realize it. Only you will realize it. People will only see, hey, this guy is successful, he can talk a lot. But behind that success, what all things you have put in, only you will know. You will have to just go through that. There is no other shortcut for success. You will have to work really hard. I'll just stop here and then open it up for questions. If you have any questions for me, I'm happy to address. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. It was really enlightening talking to you. I'd request Mr. Shakti Vadivelu, sir, to continue.
Thank you, Akhil.
Sir, we will address the questions at the end.
Yeah, sure.
Good evening, all. I am audible to everybody, I hope so.
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Yeah. Thanks for providing this opportunity. Yes, here are the target audiences are the blooming buds for the upcoming generations going to take their career. And thanks, Mr. Rajiv, for your valuable and determined speech, which has given them a confidence of sure. And
Very well, sir. Thank you very much.
yeah. Adding to the concept of this changing in the trend, I am just addressing very delightfully on some factors, because in this world, happening and changing are inevitable. We need to undergo at the every instances. And here in the target audiences, there are a lot of people who obviously into different streams of studies. When we say it is an undergraduation, yes, we need to see this changing trend in a positive way is my first fact, which I want to emphasize here. Why I'm saying it's a positive fact is after this pandemic times, everything has become a digitalized world. And second thing, data. Data is the important thing which each and every industry requires. Neither it can be a manufacturing industry, neither it can be a IT industry or whatsoever. All the industries requires data. And the second thing, as I told you, more than the data, the digitalization techniques. And nowadays, the assessments are not happening on the core area, the core study, except some few studies, except that. So in this case, you need to develop a skill set rather than your graduation, which is nothing but a data collection tools and mastering on the certain skill of it. Because data collection tool is a kind of a skill where the required informations and communications where we can able to pass upon for the industry, and for the required analysis, it will be a key factor for the all the industries. So in this case, I recommend all the students who are here to get specialized in terms of data analysis technique, first of all. And second thing, when we are coming to the digitalization, yes, Mr. Akhil was now muting for this meeting. And yes, there were some protocols which we need to develop how to present our skills in the offline mode rather than in the sense in the online mode rather than in the offline mode. I'm sorry. So we need to be very much particular in our presentation. We need to be very much specific in the time frame in our communication. So the communication factor and the digitalization, how we are handling it, and third, the data. These three are the alignments which are the basic needs for the industry in the recruitment now. In all the industries, irrespective of the degrees whatsoever, they are all looking for these three factors is my content here. And coming to the positivity, what this pandemic times has given for this undergraduates is earlier are the days where the interviews will be happening in the offline mode, in the face-to-face mode, and they will be requiring some kind of certain degree holders to come for the job in IT industry. Whereas now it is the data, like the entire scenario has changed. They want a person who is well versed in the skill, like a data in the sense of, for example, Python and certain programming languages in the IT sector is growing up very much faster, irrespective of an engineering graduate needs to do. It can be any kind of a graduate, they can able to complete this type of skill set, which they will be readily given after the job. However, there are certain instances after this pandemic times, now please stating like 66% of organizations didn't given the offer letter after the selections, and in which 33% has been given deferred to for the joining date. These are certain type of instability prevailing in the environment, not only due to the pandemic times, and after the pandemic times due to the economic imbalance. These are the imbalance it is prevailing in the society. And due to this imbalance, I am telling you, you need to convert yourself into a passionate way, and you need to come out of box from your designated degree or designated area of study. More than that, you need to add value to your skills, especially as I told you, the supporting skill sets which can able to demonstrate on the three factors which I earlier quoted here. And other than that, in coming to the as a personality, if you see, basically I am a engineering graduate, but I selected passionately this HR field as like Mr. Rajiv only, and like passionate in the sense, yes, when I completed my engineering, I was in a different stream of engineering where I have been offered a software job. My mind and my heart doesn't align to that. Don't go for a job until unless when your heart and your mind aligns to that. But I selected and I identified my passion is the management side. So I did my post graduation in that through different modes, and I'm today sitting in a position of a HR head for 19 factories. So in this case, I would like to emphasize very clearly what we require now is a passionate mind, and second one is the to the point the data management, and third one is the aligning to the digitalization techniques, and fourth one is the communication to the particular specific content. Because yes, I hope so all here are 2K kids, most of the things where everybody is expecting for the results, and in that case the results will not overcome on a immediate basis. You need to develop some kind of a patience of listening and then execution. There is a difference between a reacting personality and a responsive personality. Whereas a reacting personality will instantly give an answer, whereas a responsive personality will listen to the factors and will be given the answer according to the situations and the need. Yes, there is a difference between the need and the want. Now, the industry, more than a want, needs a person with defined skill set, as I am mentioning here, and with the defined qualities. These are the things which I am emphasizing here. And moreover, coming to the individual personality, yes, a human will always have a three minds and the three faces inside that. For example, Shakti, yes, Shakti is having a self mode. Shakti only knows who is Shakti, what is his skill set, and what is his desire, what is his positivity and negativity. That is called the self mode. And second one is the Shakti's other phase called personal mode. Shakti, how he is reflecting to his friends and also to the his family. And that is another phase. And third phase is nothing but Shakti in his professional phase. Shakti, how he is ethical, how he is disciplined, how he is aligning to the result-oriented fact in this professionalism. So I mean to say these are the three phases of self mode, personal mode, and also professional mode. Do not ever, never mix up any of the mode into other, which will create a confusion for us and which will not give a clarity for your career, because everything is an interconnected of a supply chain kind of a thing. That's what I am trying to say. Again, I am emphasizing, please develop your skill set irrespective of your degree in the data management and digitalization way, and restrict and focus your communication in a very specific way, and mainly please focus on different industries now, and you need to analyze kind of a industry where in this type of situation whether your skill set and your passionate mind will align to that. In that case you can become a successful person with a calculative risk. Yes, these are the times you should take a calculative risk with this kind of an analysis is my small thought and input I am just giving to the all the audiences here. I hope so. I am very clear in my communication and thought process. Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir, it was really nice talk. It was nice to hear from you, sir. I guess there are too many questions in the chat box. So Rajiv sir and Shakti sir, can we address it now? If it's fine with you.
We will address it at the end. There are only few questions right now. All are, yeah, one question says,
The first question was from Karthi that he wants to know that what type of job will he get after completion of BBA.
Yeah, Karthik, what is your interest area is what will be, interesting to know. I just want to tell, if you apply for any job that comes in your way, you will never get any job. Yeah, you should have one targeted area where you definitely want to work. And like Shakti sir told you very clearly, you should build your skill set. See, BBA is a general degree, Bachelor of Business Administration. It's a general degree. It will give you an overview of how business operates. If you want to go into one specific area, say marketing, say finance, or even HR, you need to build your skill sets into that particular area, and then have targeted approach in terms of spreading your communication in that particular area, saying that this is what I want, this is what I can do for you, and this is the job that I'm looking at. And if you seek help, you will definitely get it. I would like to repeat again, if you apply for every job that it comes in your way, you will never get any job. You need to have a clear target path that you want to take. And also in your emails, when that is looked at as a cover letter.
Niharika, please. Yeah.
Hello.
Oh, who is this?
Sorry, can I continue?
Yes, sir. Please.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I think that addresses Karthik's question. Shakti sir, you would like to add something to that?
Yes, you are clear, sir. Only thing, as I am again emphasizing, whatever in alignment to the BPA, like it is administration kind of a thing. Whether you want to go into the administration or kind of a HR operations, that you need to decide, and you need to develop your skill set is my small thought.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
So the next is also a similar kind of question.
I think somebody, Argan David, has raised his hand. We can ask him to speak if he has anything to add in this particular question. Mr. David, if you can just speak. Yeah, thank you.
So very good evening. Myself, Argan David. I have almost 15 years. I am also a BBA and MBA. I have passed out around 15 years of experience. Recruitment, I have worked around 5 years in Bangalore. Narasimhan sir knows me also. And 10 years I have been in the education area also. Coming from my perspective, I like just to add, when I was working for CareerNet Consulting and many of the on-site recruitment, one of the most important thing which I found was database management. And the software which we have using, like network appliances, and they use a lot of Taleo and different type of software for HR field recruitment areas. So one thing is our Excel skills or MS Office skills are very much important, because in companies we have everyday board meeting which is there daily at 10 o'clock, or we have a taking stock of the situation, and that is a regular meeting which we have in any of the entities which we have worked. Around 10 companies I have worked across different platforms, education as well as the IT companies. So what I've seen is you have a meeting regularly. You have to be prepared for on the task. What are the tasks at your hand? Daily tasks. How many of them things are pending? How many things are to be done? How many things are to be taken up? These all things are very much required. So first and foremost thing is we are not, as when we are in the education, most of our teachers are not having any sort of an exposure in the working field. And when I have seen, after coming from the working field to the academics, when as a person who with experience, when we tell all these realities to the students are not taking it seriously and working on it. This is what I have seen over and over time. Unless the students realize that I need to work upon it, only very few particular students who are really keenly on these areas, because they will only listen to it. Rest of the students will say, okay, it's any of the college responsibility or the principal's responsibility or the HOD's responsibility. We put the blame on the others and we try to escape on that. Take responsibility for everything. If you want to be in the industry, we have to work for the industry, whichever industry, whether finance, whether we are going to work for EY or any other company, we have to be adapted to that. We have to keep on learning. And when I work for EY on site, every month we have to do at least 1 or 2 courses.
Fantastic.
And learning is a continuous process.
Fantastic input.
So you cannot say that I have done MBA, my learning is over.
Yeah.
Many of the students say my MBA is over. I am the most learned person in the world. Or the teachers, faculty, when they're teaching, they say, I know everything in the world and it is done for me. My world is over.
Akhil, please pick up this particular aspect in the end. I would like to share a small story, from my own life in the end. Yeah. Thanks, David. Thanks.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, David, sir. It was really enlightening.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the next question is also.
Hey, Shaktivel sir wants
Yes.
to add something.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
Actually, here the students are targeting, after I am completing a degree, what is the salary I am going to get? And I'll be I need to get this much of salary where I need to search for a job. That attitude should be totally it should change, because once ever your skill set is developing, obviously the salaries and other remunerations should get developed. As Mr. Rajan told, we should not think that we know everything, and we should keep learning till the end in each aspect of career. That's my small input.
Thanks, Akhil. Any other questions you would like us to address right now?
Sir, we will finish up with the third speaker and then we'll address the rest of the questions.
Great. I would like to address one question from Padmavati, and then I think Madam can take over. Padmavati,
Okay, sir. Sure.
What kind of job openings are there for B, mass communications and journalism? Padmavati, there are multiple opportunities. I come from, right now I'm sitting in the media industry. Deccan Herald, Prajavani, all that. That is one area that you can also look at. There are internships which are available. Also, people with mass communication and journalism degree are hired at sub-editor level. It's an entry-level position that also you can look at. There are content, manager opportunities which are available. Also, public relations industry, the sector itself hires a lot of freshers. You can do 1 or 2 internships, and then I think you should be ready to go into the PR industry. Multiple opportunities. There are nothing. There is no dearth of opportunities for mass communications right now. Yeah, lot of opportunities available. Thanks, Akhil. I think if there are any further questions for Padmavati, I can answer. Padmavati, I hope if you can just put in an yes in the chat box, I would be happy. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, fantastic. Akhil, I think Madam can take over. Yeah, thanks.
Yes, sir. So first of all, introducing about our third speaker, that is Mukta Sachidananda. So she has a master's in English and currently working in Kalpaturu Engineering College as assistant professor and soft skills trainer, training students in English language skills and soft skills, or grooming students for their job. So with her passion for new skills, she has started own Ghana Institute of Learning and used it as a forum for practical research to develop employability among students by imparting communication skills, personality development, and soft skills, parallelly working in the engineering college. Mr. Umi, can you please unmute yourself? Yeah, great. So then after that, she gained freelancing experience as a corporate trainer in Bangalore, also coaching students online in International English Language Testing System, IELTS. Then honed skills by getting certified as Master Facilitator in Leadership and Human Resource Development in CLHRD, Bangalore. Career Development Facilitator at Dhia Mentors, Bangalore. Then she's also a technical writing at TVB, Bangalore. That's it from about her. Ma'am, I'd like you to continue and enlighten us with your knowledge.
Yes, that's good evening. Thank you, Akhil, for introducing me. And I should say Raju sir, Shakti and Argon David, They have done a wonderful job exposing the industry aspects to the students and the graduates. And myself, I come from the education sector, and I'm trying to, we put efforts in bridging this gap of academia and the industry. So in this respect, we are still seeking into experimenting with the students. So one second, please. Yes, we are working and helping students to upgrade themselves for the industry requirements. With this, that is my research area of research or practical research has always been on employability, helping students develop employability skills, and graduates or undergraduates need to understand these are the skills that not only help you to get a job, but also to survive in the jobs. Especially in times of high unemployment, employers will favor those with well-rounded employability skills. Now, since we have more of undergraduates, I think I can relate my topic to this: how to build a foundation for job preparation. So this could be the major concern of the undergraduates. So here the foremost thing is conditioning your mind for the requirements. You're going to the industry from the academia. So when you are in the academics, the focus is on internals, tests, exams, scores. But going to jobs, as Arun David said, so they have issues. So understand, you have to practically do the things, the expectations of the industry. So you need to condition your mind on building up skills that can help you to practically go with the day-to-day work. So what are the industry needs? So I suggest simple tips like you can Google search and look for job descriptions. The best thing is going for social media like LinkedIn, professional network, where you can connect with professionals of relating to your fields. So if you're in the finance field, then try to connect with people, study their profiles, understand what are the skills, understand what is happening in the industry, or you're related to IT skills, connect, build a network using LinkedIn. That could be the best forum for students to connect with the industry people. So by studying the profiles of these people who are actively and successfully working in their areas, facing the challenges in their respective fields, will take you closer to the industry requirements. So this is how you can work on conditioning your mind for the job requirements. So have a definite goal. The goal setting is important. So now through your research, through your connections with the profiles on the LinkedIn, or with the connections with your seniors or with the people in the industry, start working on setting your goals more seriously. Understand skills are the ones that will take you to the right places, and look into what are the skills that you have to build up. What is the industry looking for, and what is that you can connect passionately with? This is very important. What is that takes you in? So connecting with the skills that you think is related to your passion, you should start researching and experimenting and trying to do this. And of course, time management is one important skill that the students should learn, because every day you need to learn to set a timer, set the timetable, and what is the output you're giving each day, which can be seriously worked on weekly basis. So working on time management skills becomes very important before you step into the industry. So some more things are happening with students. So this has to be honed up to the industry requirements. So this is time management, goal setting, all very important skills for the undergraduates. Now, the next focus of development should be on 3 areas. What are the hard skills? What are the soft skills? And of course, preparing yourselves for the interview skills. Hard skills are the ones that are related to your technical subjects. So how good are you in that? Now you could be scoring very well, or some of the subjects you're studying relating to the hard skills are good, you take good scores is one thing set apart. Practically, if you're taking some certifications, that will take you to the industry needs. So look on these hard skills, work on the certifications. So without the certifications, you will not have the confidence to speak confidently or relate to the subjects. Yes, so look into these aspects of honing up your hard skills. And soft skills. What are soft skills? Soft skills is all about the mannerism you have to consciously improve, because you're going to the industry, because you're going to work, because you're going to the corporate world. Yes, so this has to be honed up. Now, participating in extracurricular activities will definitely help you being more conscious about how the industry people are interacting, and being more conscious about the etiquette, the mannerism. This is all about learning from people, learning through experience, learning through listening to the experience of other people. Now, this becomes a lot of involvement and trying to imitate, start by imitating, and then naturally you come up with the soft skills. Now, this again, interview skills. I was talking of interview skills. You need to focus on interview skills. So when before going to the interviews, you should be sure about your hard skills. You must be able to showcase some of your projects, give an explanation in a fitting way. You don't have some answers, never mind how conveniently, how well you can convince about your understanding, and the understanding at what level it is. It need not be at a very high level, but at what level you stand and how you project yourself, how clearly, how systematically you have developed your knowledge, and what is your experimentation, or what is your learning, how you showcase all this becomes important. So these are simple things. So it's not simply you come up with something big. If you have joined some certification, what is the level of learning? What is the level of understanding? How you can put them in simple terms matters a lot. Nobody from the industry simply expects that you are an excellent person, but how well you can connect, how well you can project yourself about your involvement, your understanding is important. So these are simple aspects. So taking up mock interviews will definitely help. And another part that I would like to say is learning. Learning is very important. You're using some skills to learn. So it could be when even in the classrooms, or when you're participating in seminars or such programs, you practice note making. Very important. Note making, you should be able to say what was the takeaway from each program. You must be able to explain that. So this, you're doing it on regular basis. This helps you to improve, develop skills. So these are simple things which have to be practiced. And another thing, most students should be clear. What is that you really want? Do you want a corporate job, or is your mind on government jobs? Yes, you're preparing for corporate jobs, but you still have an inclination for government jobs. Should not happen. The clarity is very important. Working on this. Yes, so be clear about this aspect. Yes, this is what I want the undergraduates to understand. Be clear about what you want. Yes, and this will take you closer to the jobs. Study the job descriptions of the jobs that you want to take. Only if that matches with your passion, your interest, your building up of the skills, only then decide to apply for that. Otherwise, as we had the earlier speakers telling, don't keep on applying for every job. Be sure what are your skills, and these skills, where will this take you? What is the fitting job that you can connect with? So this is the research that has to be done. So look into these aspects. Well then, and do you also have an inclination for entrepreneurship, being self-employed? I really find it amazing that students right in the first year are able to say, yes, I want to have my own company. So this is wonderful thinking, and very soon, after a year or 2 years, they are totally lost. Yes, so if you think self-employment or you want to have your own company, start with connecting to businesses or seriously work on internships. Today, internship is being made mandatory in most colleges, especially engineering colleges. So take it seriously, and internship, you take it as you would go for jobs. So there is a lot of learning, and one good practice would be journaling. Every day you're writing what was your experience, what is the learning. So at the end of each day, you're able to express something. This is the takeaway. This, after a week, after a month, you will find elevated with a lot of experience. Otherwise, days are flying, something is happening, you move ahead after the internship, you're not sure what is your takeaway. That should not happen. So every day you should be working on these aspects of journaling, writing down. Diary making or journaling is one way which most experts have become successful doing that. So practicing these aspects is important. Well then, this is, so whether you want to take up corporate jobs, and again in corporate jobs, do you want to relate to HR jobs? That is, if you have the human orientation, then the HR jobs would be more suitable. Or do you want to connect with IT jobs? Again, you need to understand that balancing all of it is necessary. Even to get into HR jobs, you need to get the requisite skills to work on computers. So how well you are going to pick up these updated skills is all very important. And even if you are going to work in IT, you should know good communication, you should practice. Only practice, involvement and participation can help you develop the skills. So balancing is one thing in whatever you choose. And do you want to be self-employed or be an entrepreneur is what you have to be very clear. Yes, do you want to go for higher studies? Some experience or internship totally focused will help you decide what you really want. So these changes you can keep on making. I want to take a job, you start with the job, and with some experience, start writing what is that you really want, what is that you really are looking for, and what seems to be your passion. So this has to be identified in the first place. Yes, this is all I can say. And in the first place, I should thank Narasimhan sir for giving me this opportunity right at the time when I'm authoring a book, Fire Your Skills to Get Job Ready. Yes, within 10 days, this will be published. That is the ebook. Right now, I have simply advertised that on Facebook. Very soon, you will be seeing it. And I mean this mainly for undergraduates. Hope you will reserve your copy. You can find it, you can find the ad on the Facebook. Thank you, sir. This was the right time for me to voice myself among the industry leaders and to address the undergraduates. Thank you for the e-minds.
Thank you, ma'am, and wish you all the success and may all the best for your books.
Thank you. See you. Thank you.
So it was very enlightening. So we'll go to the question section, question forum now. That sir, Rajiv sir and Shakti sir and ma'am, there is a question that how about job openings after completion of BA Economics, Statistics and Marketing as key subjects? This from Sunadas S. Archarya.
Shakti sir, you would like to take that?
Yeah. I can take forward. Like here the main question, it is a very good degree in economics and also statistics, where again and again we are telling that you need to develop the skills so that you can able to align to the particular job in the data management very easily. There you need to focus which industries having a kind of a data management job openings, and also for the aligning to the data management of the statistics and also economic study, what skill set you can able to get, you can get it done with an additional certification course or kind of a skill set course. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mukta ma'am and Mr. Raj.
Not at all, not at all. I just wanted to add one thing. There is one more question on similar lines. Is the certification is important. I would say, as an HR who have hired hundreds of people all through my career, certification is not important. Showing that paper, that is not important. But acquiring those skills and able to answer those relevant questions when the questions are posed in front of you is more important than having that piece of paper with you. That's very important.
Yes.
Any other questions, Akhil?
So there is another question that Vanessa is asking, that can anyone engage in internship during BBA course?
Yes. Anytime during, the only thing is the college has to permit that, because internships will be normally full-time. There are part-time internships also which are available. A few companies offer that. There are internet sites like internshala.com, where you can apply for it, and then companies usually pick up interns from there. So if your course is agreeing for you to be off the site for going and working for some time, then you should be good. Or else even after completing the BBA, you should be able to do few internships in various fields. Like I would definitely request every one of the students and these kids to do at least 6 months of sales job. It will really help in terms of few things. One, patience. All the kids nowadays have very, very short amount of patience. Sales job gives you a fantastic patience. They'll make you wait for hours, and how patiently you can wait and still crack the deal is very important. And number two, communication skills. How well you can present what you have with you and how you can present it. That's number two. Number three, relationship management. They may say no today, but they'll call you tomorrow and then say, hey, can you present it again? Perseverance. How well can you keep on pushing for that particular one sale to happen? Yeah. Number four, the financial management. How well can you upsell your product? Tomorrow you will have to upsell yourself. Like someone wrote saying that HR is a poorly paid job. I would definitely say no. What is the value that you are creating for that particular role is important. If you want to keep on, Shakti sir, please add into this. I cannot take anything against HRs. There is no way that the value that you create in any role is more important than what is that you do as a job. Yeah, if you keep on doing the same paperwork all through your life, you will be paid same way all through your life. If you become a strategic partner to the CEO, go to the CEO and say, look, boss, there is a problem in this particular department. I think we need to do something. What is that something? Go with few plans. Say, look, can we do some trainings on this particular aspect? Because I see that there is a problem in the skill set. Can we, I think, there is a problem with the manager himself. I think the manager has to go, or we need to have some alternatives in place. Or we can also look at, why can't we do some great coaching for the manager where he can retain all these people? Because these are the inputs that the HR has to go to the CEO for. And if you still say, okay, this person came in, I will hire him. Okay, this person is going, I'll exit him. If you keep doing that, you are not creating value to the job. Shakti sir, please add.
Yeah, I am in complete agreement with what Mr. Raju has confirmed, and my addition in a simple way here is everybody will have an education qualification, everybody will have a skill set, but please develop your wisdom. because wisdom is the thing which is highly required in establishing and differentiating you from others in producing the result. This is the view I am just saying, and in terms of wisdom, already Mr. Rajiv has clearly explained. Wisdom is nothing but how you are excelling your skill sets to produce results. And it's nothing but, in a simple word, common sense. Using the common sense in terms of a situation, time, and the fact. So everybody will have the educational qualification, everybody will have the skill set, but excelling it is the important thing, which is the wisdom I am adding it here.
Fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Akhil, anything
Sure, sir,
else?
we agree. Then the next question is that from Karthik, which type of MBA is good and secure for future for getting great job?
There is no absolutely correct answer to this question at all. What will I do after BBA? This is a similar question. What MBA should I do? What is your interest area, Karthik? That exactly you should know. And MBA by itself will not get you a job. Yeah, what skills that you bring in to the table when you are interviewed for will get you the job, not the MBA. That's
Then
all
there
I
is
can answer to this question. I can,
Yeah, sir, sure.
can go on. There are hundreds of MBAs, entrepreneurship, marketing.
Everything has a
operations.
specialization course in MBA.
What is that is your interest area is what you should go through. You will have to take a one step in the right direction. That right direction is what you want.
Truly said, sir. And,
can I add just that?
Yeah.
I would like to add my perspective to that. One thing my dad told me to do work and study. So if that can be done, that is the best thing if you can do. Otherwise, you pursue BBA, then go to MBA, complete your MBA, because MBA will be only beneficial when you become a manager. Because when you become 10 years down the lane, you want to become a manager, they will ask you whether you have masters. And that's where your masters comes into play. And project management skills are very important for everyone. That's where most of we are not at all trained on that area. That is called project management and multitasking skills. That is, you have to talk with every stakeholders in the industry, different stakeholders. When I was in HR is the most hated people in the industry, IT industry. That is very well known to everyone. The reason is, background is there behind that. That is because we only talk to the people which we favor us. That's the problem. But when I was in the industry, I used right from the security person, when I enter the company, security person till the top CEO or the VP level, each person we have to talk. We have to build relationship. We get human resource manager is a person who manages and talks to each and every person, understands the perspective of each and every person, and tries to address to that. So if you have to ask Sir, Rajiv sir said that the HR person can become the CEO of the company. That is the most important character that if we can build upon. We can become the strategic partner for the company's profit and loss.
HR is the de facto CEO.
De facto CEO. That is the real thing.
People understand it or not is different. Anybody can have any kind of opinions. I don't, it doesn't really matter. But I would definitely feel the de facto CEO of any company is the HR, because we know all the people in the organization, what's happening, what's running around, everything we know.
True.
In fact, I was picking up this particular discussion some time back that we go to the CEO and say, this is what you should do. And the CEO listens to us. If you have a valid point, it's possible. Mukta ma'am, I think you wanted to add something. I think you are on mute.
Okay. Yes, I think another guideline to the students is we find students choosing the companies based on the pay packets. So I want the students to understand, to condition their mind to take up the job for financial independence initially. So pay factor should not be the deciding factor. The first thing you need to understand what are the skills you can contribute. Based on that, your pay would be decided. So this aspect is important, how you choose your company for the skill sets you have, rather than looking for the pay packets and taking a decision, which will misguide and frustrate most of the time.
Absolutely.
Exactly. That is the difference between the expectation and the reality.
Yeah.
Expectation will be something and the reality will be something. What Madam told is right here.
Yeah, I think there is one more question, Akhil, which I want to address. I think it is from
Sure, sir, sure.
CSV. I found Mount.
CSV. That yes, sir. I was going to ask
Yeah,
the
I
same
found
question.
Naukri, Monster, etc. all seem to be very big junks. Any small portals like JobsDB, Gaza.com, China.com, or better services or for benefit? Anyone has any thoughts in this line? I would definitely say even reputed companies, when we want to hire, we the first instance that we go for is big names. Because they have that particular database like Naukri, Monster, Shine, Times Job, even IIMjobs.com is good enough. LinkedIn, we sometimes we search through LinkedIn, and there are groups like I was telling you earlier. Even we search in the groups also, where say if there is a Facebook group for finance professionals. We go there and put in a post saying that, hey, you have any guy who has got say accounts payable experience for about 6 months, I would like to hire. So you cannot say what is the right kind of an approach that you should do, but yeah, big names definitely help when you are looking for a job and you are a fresher. Even there are good WhatsApp groups and also the Telegram groups, which are all available. Again, it's all usually one way, where they keep the junk gets posted there, and you need to scroll through hundreds of jobs and then see what is relevant for you. Instead, I think Naukri is where you will be found by the people who want you. If you are like I was telling you, the resume is attractive, it speaks the truth, and it is very relevant to what we want to hire at this particular time. If it is relevant, you will definitely get a call. And there is a small trick also with all these job boards. I'll give out that particular trick right now. When you update your profile on these job boards, what happens is it captures when is that you have last updated your resume on this. Yeah, so the best day to update is on a Thursday or on a Sunday evening. So what happens when Monday morning I come to office and then somebody asks me, hey, I want a fresher, a BSc guy. Can you have, do you have any profiles? I go to Naukri and look for the most relevant person on the Naukri portal or on the Monster portal who has updated it recently is the guy who I want to hire, because that guy will be interested to get the job immediately. So keep refreshing your profile on a weekly basis. That will make your resume fresh. Yeah, so it keeps on showing that you are interested even today, and then your resume comes when I look for say BSc chemistry, who is there, so your resume comes on top. So that's very important also. Yeah, so that's a small trick that you guys need to keep in mind, and I have given it out today. Yeah, all the best.
Yes, it's a very useful trick, sir. Then there is another question from Soumya Ghosh, that she wants to know for a long term which all skills will be needed, like for about 30 to 40 years ahead.
Nothing. 30 years, no skills will be relevant. You have to keep reinventing yourself. You have to keep learning on a daily basis. There is nothing that I can give out for 30 years. No way. Nobody knew that Uber will come. Yeah, nobody knew that Google will come. Yeah, when I completed my engineering, I did not even know how to operate a computer. So I don't know what skill will be relevant in the next 5 years.
Actually, yeah, these target groups are our competitors, because if we are not getting updated ourselves, they are the competitors for us. So day by day, it's a learning process, as Mr. Rajiv is telling. Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks for that ad. Mukta ma'am, you want to add something? You keep, I think, you're smiling and you want to say something, please.
I'm just, I agree with what you people are saying there, frankly. It's very practical tips, and updating is very important. And I suppose students can think of what skills they build up today. Probably that stands for not more than 10 years. maybe so
Not
update.
even, not even 10 years, 3 to 5 years is max, and you have to reinvent yourself. And that too, especially if you are in IT, every alternate year you need to reinvent yourself and then look at the newer skills into your basket.
So it is all about coming up with the mindset of ever learning, continuous learning. So students can't think that studies
There
is
is no way. Yeah, in fact, you know what? I'll give one more small story of mine. When I completed my engineering, my dad told, "Hey, do an MBA." I said, "Look, I'm done with my studies. I don't want to study." You know what? After that, I did my masters. I did my executive, coaching, and then did a course in IIM Bangalore. I did a lot of courses all across the world. I've been studying all through. So what I thought, I've done my engineering, I'm done. It is not done. You are done here with your graduation. Yes, graduation is done, but your learning is not done. You have to keep reinventing yourself. You need to be very, very relevant. Yeah, when you go to the vegetable market, just imagine, yeah, somebody comes and buys. What will they buy? They'll buy the fresh vegetables, the freshest of the vegetables. If your skills are fresh, you will be hired. If your skills are stale, old, nobody will even touch you. That's a small example. I don't want to demean saying that you are all vegetables. No, I'm talking about skills. Yeah, if the skills are fresh, everybody will buy that, and you will get a higher price if it is more fresh.
Yes, absolutely. We have a life example of Ronaldo, the famous footballer.
Yeah.
Excellent, sir. Excellent. Rajiv sir's example was very excellent, sir. Excellent. That's what we say, that if you don't get updated, you will be outdated. Yeah. Excellent.
And updated almost on a daily basis.
Yeah, sir.
There is another question from Priyanka Hanumat that she's asking that she's interested in travel and tourism, so she would like to know which field she should pursue.
See, I would say travel and tourism is the industry is going little slow right now, but that does not mean that the jobs will not be available going forward. There will be a time when the jobs in that particular market also will boom. Like people have already started traveling. All that has started already, but the industry as such may take some amount of time. So I would suggest if she can upgrade her skill sets little bit more, or even look at travel desks in the companies. Even they hire this travel and tourism graduates also, and there are companies like Y-Axis and all this, where the visa processing companies, even they hire a lot of these people. So those are something that can come on top of my mind, but I'm not experienced much in that particular area, so I can't tell much.
Yeah, so there is a suggestion from Mr. Francis Praveen that HR's role for an organization has been considered as a functional. Due to that, the salary packages are also less comparing to operations, since HR role is vital for every individual in an organization. For smooth move on, the salary package has to be upgraded as well.
Yeah, I have answered that question already. If you do your job, you will only be paid a salary. If you want to
correct. I want to add one point. Yeah.
Yes, Shakti.
I would like to add one point here.
Yeah.
Basically, HR is a thankless job, and as Mr. Rajiv already told, we are into service sector for rendering the operations to move on. Obviously, operations will have its value different, and HR should not compare with the operations, is my kind request. Obviously, when we are developing our skill sets and when it is going on, it will create a win-win situation which will make us to grow. That's my thought. Because operations is the productive factor of an organization, and our HR factor is a service factor for all, where we are the catalyst. However, the catalyst has to excel on time being when the organization grows.
Absolutely, sir.
Absolutely, yeah.
And another thing is that Dandapani Tirchi. Sorry if I'm wrong. So he's asking that I am DGM presently for a company. Will PhD help in boosting my career? He wants to become a consultant after 55 years of age, and for that, will going PhD. What will it say?
Degrees as such will not help. He is also a very senior person. I would only like to bring in my experience. Maybe I am not qualified enough to guide him at this point in time. I will only say PhD will make the eyes open that yes, this guy is a specialist, but what is that specialization that he wants to do in his own field is what is very relevant. And again, you should be, if at all he can create value, even with, say, if he is a DGM already, Dandapani, if you are a DGM already, I suppose you must be having already with 15 to 20 years of experience. So that is good enough even to become a consultant now. If you are able to bring in and add value to whichever field that you want to become a consultant. PhD will definitely make doors open that you are a specialist in that field. But to keep that door open, you need to have those skills very relevant, and if you are able to bring in value. Like, I just give an example that if say, for example, if Dandapani is a DGM maintenance, if he can go in and solve a problem, a big problem, say in 1 hour, so he is bringing in a lot of value. Instead, if he goes in as Dr. Dandapani and he goes into an analysis for 5 days, and then he says, I need 25 people to solve this particular problem, that may not help. So the skills that you take onto the table will be more relevant. Yes, of course, Dr. Dandapani will get the door open, but Dandapani as the person who has got that right skill in solving that problem will be more relevant for any organization. Yeah, they are, all the organizations right now are looking for specialists, not generalists. Generalists are there everywhere. Specialists are the need of the hour. So if he can specialize in that particular field, and if he thinks PhD will help him, definitely yes, he should do that. But PhD is a painstaking process. At least it will take 5-6 years, and then a huge amount of research, and then late nights. All that hard work is there. If he thinks he should do it, I think, yeah, go ahead, do it, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sure. Sir, a final question from my personal views that what is the difference that you see in pre-pandemic era and the post-pandemic industry?
I can, yeah. Here I can throw light something like post-pandemic and pre-pandemic, the change of working has come into the way, and moreover, post-pandemic, if you can able to excel yourself on a daily basis, you can survive. And moreover, the industries are unstable in certain areas, in certain factors. So you need to excel in your work on a very result-oriented way and a particular KPI completing process. I mean to say, it should be a result-oriented on a daily basis, which will make you to survive if the change happened post-pandemic. Pre-pandemic, yes, there were some chances and the breathing time has been given. Whereas there is no breathing time available now because the industries, the factories, it has to survive, and it is also struggling a lot with the economic crisis and the build-up where we need to give our efforts in a daily basis and a result-oriented manner. Hope I am clear.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Very relevant. I just shifted out from the manufacturing industry. I can just add few points there. Maybe Shakti sir and ma'am can also add a few things later. There are opportunities also which are definitely available in the post-pandemic period. I'll give you an example. If senior person is retiring, what earlier what used to happen is the manufacturing organizations would replace that role with another senior person. Now what they are looking at, to cut the cost, they are promoting somebody from inside, and to keep the headcount or to give the hands and legs more, they are giving more freshers. Say in place of say one senior person, they will promote one junior to that particular place and then say, okay, we will give you 3 freshers. Why don't you work with them? So the opportunities are definitely there. You should have an eye for those opportunities. And if you have those relevant skills, definitely yes. Like, best example is the accounts guys. Yeah. If any senior accounts person is retiring, they're not replacing that with a senior accounts person. Instead, they're taking, four fresh BCom graduates and then asking them to, you do the data entry. Whoever was already there as a junior will, take on the role of the, manager's role. So that's happening. So there are opportunities also available. There is a flip side also. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, sir. So any other questions from anyone? If not, we will conclude the session. I guess there are no other questions, so I'll move to the conclusion part.
I just want to add one last thing. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
And this is more relevant to what ma'am was, talking about, the soft skills and all that. Yeah. Internships gives you a great insight into what soft skills are all about. Yeah. Sitting outside the organizations, no one will know what is the right amount of soft skills which needs to be, you should be carrying. But internships will give you the right amount of exposure on what is that. It may be as simple as writing an email to your manager. How do you address him? Some people want to be addressed as sir. Some people would be, willing to say, okay, dear Rajiv. Some people would say, Rajiv, can you help me with this? So it is very relevant to see what is that and how do you calibrate your, communication and approach to the email that you send across. Emails are part of the culture of any organization. So getting those will be, definitely useful. And, coming to one more point that ma'am was raising, which is very relevant, was the interviewing skills. Yeah. What are the things that you should know during the interview? That's okay not to know everything 100%. If you are, if you answer 100% of the questions, I'm not hiring you. That is for sure. As an HR, I'm telling you. If you know everything, you are not fit for the job. Either somebody has leaked the question paper to you, or you are overqualified for the role that I'm looking at. There is always a 30 to 40% gap that I will be looking at, where you will have to come into the role and then grow into the role. That is very important. So if you cannot answer certain questions, it's okay, no problem. But showing the intent that you are willing to learn through the job, through the organization is very important. How well you present yourself during that particular phase is what you need to be, be well of. Your body language will speak a lot. Like if you have a stiff face, not smiling at all, smiling too much, all that, is not at all relevant. So you need to be smiling, but smiling at the right quantity and to the right people. If say there is a panel of people, sitting and asking you questions, whoever is asking the questions, you not only answer back to that particular person, but also involve the other peoples in the panel who are sitting there. They are also important part of the panel. It is just that the one person is asking you the question does not mean other persons are not relevant. You need to address their queries also. So you need to engage them also into the answers that you are giving them. Yeah, those are a few things. Plus, last thing is, when you go for an interview, go with an open mind. Don't get fixed up that this is what I want, this is what I will do, and this is what I will be doing. No way. Lot of flexibility and agility is required when you are entering into a career, and that forms a big part of your career journey. Yeah, that's all what I want to say, and I wish you guys all the very best. Thank you.
I have a question. Hila TRV from Trichy, TRV HR Business Solutions.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I have worked up to HR manager position. Because HR manager, we are handling that issues. Okay, even though we are getting lot of things and giving a training, finally we are supposed to say that please go out from that organization. I am not interested on the process. Because of that, I have worked as a professor in Shastra University, placed more than 10,000 people. Okay, giving a training, attitude, behavioral change training. Okay, what is my question is, the company is ready to fill their position, but they are approaching so many colleges. Is it required? Why they are not serious about the students also? They are saying that company is coming, sir, we will get placed. Like that, they are taking in a casual way, but the MNC, whatever the companies they are saying, they are not going each and every college. They are not filling that position. Why they are not serious about that? And college also, they are saying, I am placing this much position. Lot of companies is coming, but vacancy is 20,000, eligibility is 200, 20 persons only placed. What is your opinion about that? We are giving specific training to the each and every colleges. Now my position is healer TRV. I am making the people without entering into police station, court and hospital. I have designed 120 concepts. I am giving a value system for the more than 3 lakh people. That is the situation, sir. Please guide us. Give your opinion.
I will only, I can only add few things. Because you are already worked as an HR manager, it is easy for you to pick up my, direction which I am going in. There may be hundreds of people in the organization, yeah, but there is only one CEO. There may be thousands of students which are available, but you pick up only 5 or 10. Yeah, why those 5 or 10 is what that students need to understand. Like, not everybody can become a CEO, right? Do you understand that, right? Yeah, not everybody can become a CEO. Not everybody can become a manager. You may be a very good worker, but to become a manager, you need a different kind of a skill set. If you have that, you become a manager. Then, if you have a different kind and you go through a different kind of a process and you acquire a lot of new skills, you can become a CEO. Not everybody can become a CEO. Now that you are running your own organization, if you look back, say 5 years, as an HR manager, what you are doing, and an owner of a company, what you are doing, there will be hundreds of new things that you are doing, which you are not doing when you are a manager. Yeah, right? There are new skills that you have picked up. So there may be thousands and lakhs of students which are available, but each and every organization has a culture, and that culture, it is not told. Culture is never told. You as an HR manager, you know it very well. Culture is not told at all. It is only felt. And we within the organization will feel it. When we talk to somebody, we will only know whether this person will fit into our organization or not. It is only a gut feeling. There is no matrix, 2x2 matrix to that. Yeah, yes, no, all right. No, there is nothing called as a matrix in that particular aspect. So, I don't have a exact answer to why this person is not taken and what is that he does not have. I would only say, okay, he does not fit into the organization is all what I can say. So not everybody gets into Google, not everybody gets into Facebook, or not everybody gets into the companies that they want. Like UPSC, small example, yesterday 100 results have come in. Not everybody who writes the exam clear UPSC. Not everybody. They are all top minds who write UPSC exams. Why only pick up 600, 700 people? Yeah, there are certain things, certain qualifications, certain skill sets, certain mindsets those people have, only because of which they have cleared that particular exam with that particular ranking. Correct? I hope, that's all I want to say. I don't have, I cannot tell you much because you also have worked as an HR and you also know better how things happen in the organization.
Yeah, Rajiv sir, I am correlating one fact which I told earlier.
Yes, sir.
That is the wisdom and the common sense.
Yes,
which is differentiated.
Absolutely. Knowledge, skill is where you acquire everything. Yeah, competence is how to do it. Wisdom and common sense is it shows. Just shut up at some time and then listen to what people are saying, or open your mouth only when you can add value.
I just like to add one point, sir.
Yes, sir.
The thing is, most of our students are only looking at salary when they're joining an organization.
I think, you know, what is happening is we have taken this discussion to some other level. I think we were supposed to address all these freshers and young kids. We are talking.
I'll just add to that.
Now.
I'll add to that. The main crux of the whole thing, which I'd like to add, is the freshers should try to build a career. That is what they need to build. If I'm going to an organization, I need to improve that organization. How I can improve? Because the owners, people think that particular person, 5 or 6 people whom they select, how they will bring a transformation in the company. The youth, how they will bring the transformation in the organization. So the youth should always think that what are the things I can improve in this company? How I can improve the process? How I can solve the problems? If they go with that mentality, they will survive in the industry and the company also. Even they can grow to become the CEO or the main decision makers for the company. So if they have that mindset, they will excel. Otherwise, they will keep on changing the companies and keep on changing the organization and only go behind the salaries. And they will be unhappy in their life. You choose what you want, career or money should run behind you. The choice is with the students.
If you go behind money, it will stop one point. It will stop. Yeah. If you change jobs so frequently, you will never ever get a job after say 5 jobs. Every 6 months you change a job and put in your resume. 7th job you will never get it. Anyway, thank you very much. I think Akhil, I have another meeting that I need to jump on.
Yes, sir. It has
leave at this point. Thank you very much for all this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for all your insights.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Fantastic inputs. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
I'll connect offline on this. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for attending this program today in large numbers. I am sure all of you have had multiple takeaways from this entire session. What you do after this session is the beginning of your career. For some, it is the midway of the path. I would like to thank all our speakers for giving us time despite their busy schedules, and it's a weekend. The session was nothing less than insightful, encouraging, and valuable. I request all our participants to shower the panel members their feedback by sharing on the chat, and as well as that, I am sharing the contact details of Rare Minds in the chat box. If anyone has any queries, they can share their queries on this thing. And as expected, the mixed audience have received many key takeaways from this decision, and we appreciate the clarity given in the answering and questioning forums. So thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Once again. I wish everyone from on behalf of Team Rare Minds to stay safe and get vaccinated as soon as possible. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have had a great start to this week, to the next week. And I declare that this webinar is over now. Thank you, everyone.